you hear us?
Hang on, Mandy. RMFM. You're unmuted, and you should be able to talk. Check your settings. Check your sound settings. Check your mic settings. You should be able to hear me at least. What do you mean waiting? What? You're here. I hear you a little bit. La Puente Times. We heard you a little bit, but you came out like a robot. Try it again. RMFM. Come on now.
So don't look like they're gonna bring me on.
There we go. A little bit. I heard you right there. What's going on, man? I just heard you, and now you're gone again. RMFM. We were able to, and you're gone. Fucking hell. Carl B. Thank you very much for the $50 super chat. What the fuck?
Want me to drop in case it's an issue?
I don't think you're the issue, Mandy. I don't think you are.
Okay.
RMFM, come on now. Discord is not that difficult. All right. I mean, for fuck's sake, if you really need me to like invite you to a goddamn Google Meets, then fine. But for God's sakes, dude. If that's what it takes, then that's what it takes. But in the meantime, I'm gonna play the rest of Popo Medic's video. All right, 5, 4, 3, 2, and uno. All right. I'll send him a Google Meets invite. That should be easier.
People were still inside the store. What did you do?
Sitting inside. I shut in 8 times. Everybody moved.
A merchant guarding his properties. You got anybody out there or just a shot?
Rick Romero out here. All of the merchants here are not going to wait for the National Guard or police or anybody else. You talked about guerrilla warfare, and it's right here, right on the premises here. Just about every one of the individuals in this.
Radio Korea quickly became dubbed Koreatown's makeshift command center, warning listeners of the whereabouts of incoming looters, and offered itself as a 911 system, allowing shop owners to call out for help over the air. After the realization sank in, there would be no response from police, fire, or EMS, already stretched too thin, responding to thousands of ongoing emergencies.
아니스 옷가게라고 있습니까? 아니스 옷가게 거기는 남자 옷이에요. 남자 옷가게. 네, 거기 탔어요? 네, 거기가 지금 불타고 있어요.
We need additional guard in here.
We have no police support whatsoever. People are driving by shooting at us, and we have to do something about it.
A local resident by the name of Ina Cho and president of the Korean Veterans Association in 1992 was listening to the broadcast and decided to call in a little broadcast of his own, requesting all Korean Marine Corps veterans to respond to the area. Soon after, a group of around 15 Korean Marine Corps veterans arrived, equipped with rifles, and rendezvoused with Cho. The men responded to a large electronics warehouse.
Is that Ricky? How you doing, Ricky?
What's up, Arty?
How you doing, man? Oh, I'm doing fine. How you doing?
How you doing, man? Oh, I'm doing fine. How you doing?
What's the story, Ricky?
What's the story, Ricky? Audio here. Audio. What's up, Arty? How are you?
I'm doing fantastic, man. How are you?
How you doing, Arty? How are you? I'm doing fantastic, man. How are you? How you doing, Arty? What's going on, man?
Hey, like I said, what's going on? What's going on?
Like I said, what's going on? I'm here. You have a set of words.
I've been talking to you the whole time, dude. Also, can you try and like mute YouTube or whatever you're listening to this, because I'm getting feedback here.
YouTube, whatever you're listening to this, because I'm getting feedback here. Oh, it's funny how you don't have audio on my end. I have a perfect system. Hold on, try different headphones.
You have a perfect system.
What do you want to ask me, Arty? Am I a sovereign citizen?
Well, given the fact that you say and assert all the things that coincide with a sovereign citizen, yes. But please try and cut down the echo, man.
What's up, Arty?
There we go. I think we solved the problem here. Yeah?
Hopefully.
All right, perfect. No more echo. Awesome. So, yes, dude, I think you're a sovereign citizen because based upon the arguments that you present in chat and the arguments that you've already presented previously. So you espouse the hallmarks of what we would generally term to be sovereign citizen-like arguments. Yes.
Is a sovereign citizen something like somebody that has a different belief than you?
No, not at all.
Okay, a sovereign and a citizen can't be the same in the same sentence because one, sovereign is independent and separate from the rest of the state, and citizen is the property or chattel of the state.
Of course, I understand that the two terms are seemingly oxymoronic. However, the problem that you're having here is that the term sovereign citizen was not invented by anybody else except for the original self-proclaimed individuals who said that they were sovereign citizens.
I don't.
And but I understand that that's not something that you personally label yourself as. I understand that. The term sovereign citizen is tended to be a
Can you say the
general
word
label.
that I label myself as what is citizenship? Is it a privilege or is it something that's just given to you, or
Well,
what is
citizenship is
citizen?
a right. It's a birthright.
For who? For who? For the people
Eh,
that are born here?
Correct. And the people who naturalize from immigrants.
Okay. So that would be the 14th Amendment citizen, correct?
Of course.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So where does this 14th Amendment citizen become the sovereign citizen part? I'm missing that
No,
concept.
you misunderstand. The term sovereign citizen again is a label given to people who adhere to pseudo legal arguments in court, asserting that they do not have to abide by the local, state, or federal laws that the rest of the citizenry are required to abide by.
You mean like the police and the courts and everybody else that get to defy the laws, that have absolute immunity from prosecution or um, anything of the sort for their criminal conduct or their wrongdoing?
No, I'm
Is that
not
who you're talking about?
Nope, not at all. I'm referring to
Because
individuals who argue.
is that not a fact?
No,
It's not a fact. Are
no.
you sure about that, Artie? You want me to court?
I'm well aware
See,
of what qualified immunity is.
Oh yeah. And would you care to explain it to your people?
Qualified immunity is where the police are or judges
Just
are
the
able
police?
to police or judges. Let me continue. Let me answer your question. Where police, judges, or prosecutors are immune from civil suit when it comes to actions that are done in the course of their official duties. That's the very general explanation of what qualified immunity is.
Okay, so if a judge behaves, or if a judge misbehaves, or if a prosecutor oversteps their judicial authority and acts with a conflict of interest with the judge, point of order, doesn't follow the rules of proceedings, and or accepts donations from the prosecutor's office for
What
their
donations?
reelection campaigns, the judges, and they don't disclose that conflict of interest, and nobody questions it, but that one person that comes through and questions that donation or that point of order that has been stepped out of bounds. Who is to say that this judge isn't qualified from being removed and somebody else placed in charge? Who gives the judge the authority to decide his own jurisdiction?
If a judge is unable to decide their own jurisdiction, how is a question of jurisdiction going to be heard in the first place?
Well, by the demur, it must be dismissed.
So basically, when you submit a challenge to jurisdiction and you believe that the judge that you're submitting this demur to does not have jurisdiction, the judge automatically has to rule in your favor because they can't assess whether or not they have jurisdiction?
I don't know about your state's law, but I know the California Civil Code of Procedure.
Okay.
I know that implies within the procedure that if there is a established fact that controverts is the word in this book, that controverts the word of the judge or the proceedings to the fact, then it must be removed or the judge must grant leave
Okay,
to that proceedings.
you're not listening to what I'm saying. You're making a challenge, correct? You're making a challenge to
No, I'm not making a challenge.
Are you
You're
you're making a
I'm not the one making
sorry.
the challenge. I'm
You're
the one
making
that's
it-
brought to the court.
You're the one who's making the demur, right? Of a jurisdictional issue, correct?
No, nope, that's not no.
Then
I'm
what
simply
then why
asking a question. I'm
then what are you
simply
asking?
asking a question about the proof of claim that the prosecutor is bringing before the judge. And does the judge really have the right to grant that jurisdiction to that prosecutor?
So if
Being
you-
the fact
but-
that there
but you're-
might be certain conflicts of interest
But you're
that are
but
in
hold
fact
on.
taking place.
You're talking about two different things. You're talking about one, a conflict of
not.
interest. You're talking about jurisdiction and you're talking about conflict of interest. Those are two different issues. Are they
They're
not?
two separate subjects. They're two different subjects. But they
Okay,
can both fall in line in the same in the same reason for the demur. Can they not?
They can be raised in a single motion, correct?
Right.
So you
And if
can
that single
raise
motion is brought.
you can raise an issue of a conflict of interest, and you could also raise a jurisdictional issue.
Well, why does the judge, whenever he is acting in his fiduciary capacity, and that fiduciary presentation is challenged, he acts like it doesn't matter the simple rule or the simple regulation that's supposed to be followed according to the civil code of procedure.
Well,
Why don't they follow it?
Well, here's the thing: when you're raising those two issues, the first person that's going to make a determination on those two issues is going to be that very judge himself. And if the judge rules in a case that you disagree with, you have the right of appeal. You can appeal the judge's decision, which includes the judge's determination of whether or not
that's not up until conviction. And we're talking about way before conviction even takes place, Arty. We're talking right now as you like to make fun of me about my recent appearance in the city of Inglewood. Hey, guess what? That charge is dismissed. That charge got thrown smooth the fuck out. Guess what? Guess what motion granted it, Arty?
Oh, what motion?
Guess what
granted
motion?
It? Oh yeah.
Proof of claim.
Oh, proof of claim, really?
Proof of claim according to California Civil Code Procedure 1300, section subparagraph D.
Oh yeah.
Permanent S cheat. That's what got
Permanent
the
S
case
cheat.
dismissed.
That's what got it dismissed.
Permanent S cheat.
That's what the dismissal order says.
Well, they didn't give me a dismissal order. They didn't give me any kind of order. They just dismissed the case.
Oh,
based on the claims that I presented.
Oh, but you're saying they don't say that it was based on your claim, but you say it is based on your claim.
Order. They didn't give me no kind of order. They read my shit. They gave me a lot of shit. They gave me a lot of shit, Arty.
So you're assuming that the dismissal was due to the paperwork that you submitted.
Well, there was no judge that represented me. There was no lawyer that represented me in the case.
I never said that there was a lawyer that was representing you.
Right.
All I'm simply asking is whether or not the dismissal was due to the paperwork that you submitted.
It was based on the paperwork that I submitted. Yes.
And what is the evidence of that?
The evidence is you can find it on the court document. You can type it in yourself. You have access to that stuff. You know my name. You can look it up.
So what you're saying is that you submitted paperwork, and
a lot
then
of it.
At a later date they dismissed
after
your
I filed a
citation.
federal lawsuit on the judge.
So you're doing a post hoc ergo propter hoc. In other words, you submitted something, and then they dismissed it.
I made a claim. I made a claim based on point of order.
Okay, so you are not.
What did you tell? Why don't you explain to your people what a point of order means, Arty?
a point of order is something that has nothing to do with a what were you originally charged with? Let me ask you that first.
What is the point of order, Artie?
Can I ask you what you were charged? Was this a criminal or civil action?
It's criminal misdemeanor, administrative citation.
Okay, it's administrative citation. So in other words,
Spectator.
so you provided
Spectator.
So you did
read. Why don't you read the law? Why don't you read the law that I was arrested for, Artie?
You never
can
you,
simply
you,
look it up. It's Inglewood
you haven't even told me yet.
Code.
Okay.
It's Inglewood Municipal Code
Okay.
3-155A. Inglewood Municipal Code 3-155A. That's what I was arrested for.
3-1558.
3-155A. Yes, sir. Spectator.
So you're a spectator. So and you were cited for this? You were given a citation?
I was arrested for this.
Oh, you were gonna arrested.
I was taken to jail and my property was converted to public interest from my private possession. So
then you didn't go to court, you just simply submitted this paperwork?
no, I did go to court. I went all the way up to pretrial discovery. Pretrial discovery.
Okay, I'm not seeing anything about you said 3-1558, correct?
Yeah, the way that Inglewood has it wrote up, it's Inglewood Municipal Code. It's really hard to find, but they have it like they have it chalked up, man. Even the citation that the officer,
I have the code right here. General regulations, parking regulations, Inglewood Municipal Code, vehicles and traffic, chapter 3. Okay, so 3-155A.
155A.
3-155A. A? 155A or 155A?
I say 155A. There's 1554 and 154, and then there's 155, but they both say pretty much the same thing.
Prohibition of spectators at illegal motor vehicle speed. Okay, so you were at a street racing event, and
No, I wasn't. I was recording the event. I heard the call come over the radio, the scanner, and being my particular interest in the city of Inglewood and the drug dealing conspiracies, I've been monitoring the city of Inglewood for quite some time, and I am a journalist. It's says it on my arrest paper.
Section
3-1. What does it say? Anybody within anyone within 500 feet, Artie?
Any individual 3-155A. Any individual who is knowingly present as a spectator, either on a public street or highway or on private property open to the general public without the consent of the owner, operator, or agent thereof, at an illegal motor vehicle speed contest or exhibition of speed is guilty of a misdemeanor.
No offer or presumption of innocence there? Is anybody that's present, Artie? Anybody that's absolutely present?
Any individual who is knowingly present as a spectator, yes. But that's an
Knowingly
accusation.
present. But it is. But what if somebody just so happened to be sitting at the bus bench, Artie, and all these street racers came and they clogged the intersection.
Okay.
And the bus can't get to the person that needs to get picked up by the bus. So they just so happen to be within 25 feet of the intersection. And law enforcement just so happens to see you sitting there in the middle of this so-called event. And they decide to target you, and you're not even a part of it. You're just merely present. And it says, does it not say in there without regard to how that person arrived?
Hold on a second, Ricky. 3-156 says is the next part of the code. It says relevant circumstances to prove a violation.
I wasn't cited for that.
But this is pertinent to the issue, correct? Relevant circumstances to prove a violation of section 3-155. includes the time of day, the nature and description of the scene, the number of people at the scene, the location of the individual charged in relation to any individual group present at the scene, the number and description of motor vehicles at the scene, the individual charge drove or was transported to the scene, the individual charge has previously participated in an illegal motor vehicle speed contest or exhibition of speed, the individual charge has previously aided and abetted in an illegal motor vehicle speed contest or exhibition of speed, the individual charge has previously attended an illegal motor vehicle speed contest or exhibition of speed, or
How
the
am I supposed to know anybody's speed? How am I supposed to know anybody's speed, Artie? How can I know anybody's speed?
All I'm
How can I know
providing,
which vehicle on the roadway is illegal?
Ricky, I'm providing you with the
You don't need to provide me.
circumstances.
I know what it says.
I thought you
know
said
what
you
it
were.
says.
You don't know. You just told me that you were
I know what it
charged with
says.
it. You said
That's what I was charged
1-56
with.
was. You were charged with
No,
3-155.
155A.
Right, but
155.
but 3-156 isn't a charge.
Okay, but
I
the
don't know
charge
why you're.
was-
I don't know why you're going after me about this, because
I'm not going
3-156
after
isn't a
you,
charge.
Artie. I'm not at all. I'm not-
3-156
after
is
you.
not a charge. It's simply describing the circumstances or the totality of what
Okay.
may cause an officer
I-
to cite you for a 3-155 violation, but you don't want to listen
Right.
to that.
No,
I'm giving
heard
you-
it. I've read it over and over. I've read
but-
it many times.
You thought 3-156 was an extra charge, but it obviously is not.
No, I never got cited for 156, man. I got charged for 155A and not having a headlight.
but
on
you're
my
saying you
bicycle
read
at
it.
nighttime.
But you're
I-
saying you read it all.
Artie, obviously, I have read it. Artie, I have over 60 pages, about 14 different types of motions that I've filed in my own defense. And
I'm sure you have.
Guess what? Pretty. You know what? I'm sure
With
you
all
know
due-
what,
with all due
Pitch's Brady
respect-
motion is, right?
With all due respect, Ricky,
Yeah.
the number of motions that you filed is not
It doesn't matter. It
consequent.
doesn't matter. They don't matter. Somebody
You're
has
right.
to read those fucking motions.
Absolutely, you're right. The
Somebody
number
has
of
to read
motions
those
you filed
right?
does not. The number of motions you filed have nothing to do with whether or not they're meritorious.
Right. Right. But also the circumstances of the fact, the totality of the issue is I wasn't there as a spectator. It's well known by them, my name, my YouTube channel,
But see,
and the
here's the
fact
thing.
that I am
What
a journalist. By their own words. Artie.
well, you're right, Ricky. You're absolutely right. You are a journalist with big fucking air quotes. I get that. But the officers may not know that. I mean, with all due
Well, they
respect,
know, how do they not know that? They know me by name, Artie. They know
they
me
do.
by first and last name, Artie. How can they
Okay.
not know that?
well, if they know
How
you by
can they not know that? Especially after I rat out Johnny Baca
who?
to the FBI, and 2 weeks later, FBI shows up after they already arrested Baca, goes straight over to the Inglewood Police Department and confiscates all of their computers and their laptops,
Who?
all that shit, their cell phones, and they had to issue a reimbursement of emergency order of supply or whatever Mayor Butts did over there, and they had to replace all that equipment, Artie, because
I don't-
somebody called and ratted them out.
I don't. Okay, Ricky, you're gonna have to give me. You gave me a name, and you're now saying that you ratted out or submitted a tip to the FBI, who
Artie,
then in
we-
turn,
we- you know,
who then
we're
in
skipping
turn
around the
rated.
subject, and
You're
it has
right.
nothing to
You're
do
right.
with
It has nothing to do with anything. Correct. You're
sovereign
absolutely right.
citizen. Sovereign citizen does not pertain to the topic when it comes to me. Sovereign, I can. And remember how you told me, Artie, I would not get my passport? Remember how you said that, Artie? Remember how you swore up and down on my live stream, Artie, that I wouldn't get my passport?
Yep.
That if I owed child support and all that other shit, and if I
Well,
had a felony and everything else, you
Well,
sat
I
there
didn't
and
say
told
anything
me.
about that. I didn't say anything
Oh,
about
yeah,
a
I have it,
passport
I
or
have it.
child support. I say
You said that.
no. What I said was
You
whether
said
or
I
not
wouldn't
you.
get it, Artie. You
I
did
said that
say
you
I
wouldn't get it.
Artie.
I said that you wouldn't get it on the issue that you were going to turn yourself into a American national.
I got it under the grounds of American National, Artie.
You got your
I
passport.
got it under the grounds.
So now you're
Yes,
a
sir, I
citizen
did.
of American Samoa.
I am not a Samoan. It's anybody that is born, all the United States Americans All United States citizens are United States nationals, but not all nationals are citizens. No more than all fishermen are captains.
No, I'm sorry that's not how that works.
How else did it work, Artie? It obviously worked for me if I got the passport, if I got the documents that you told me that I wouldn't get, Artie.
Well, look, Ricky, I'm going to offer you that if you try and pull this and try to leave the country using your passport,
What do I need to leave the country for?
because
They can't revoke my passport.
Well, that's
They
what I'm
cannot
saying.
even-
That'll be the actual applicable use of your passport, and to see if you actually can
well,
leave
actually,
the country
I'm
as a
free-
so-called American national. Because according to the
I'm
law
free to
as
go.
it's written,
What law?
only American Samoans are
What is American
non-citizens,
Samoan? What is
non-citizen
that?
nationals.
No, that's not what it says in 8 USC 1401 section subset
No, it does say that.
INA 8 1101
Yes, the Immigration and
21B.
Nationality Act. Yes,
Immigration and Nationality Act
correct.
1101
Uh-huh.
21B.
Uh-huh.
And see, where did you get a sovereign citizen from? Yeah, I'm basically just quoting straight out of their federal law book.
Because the idea of becoming a non-citizen but an American national is straight out of a soft-sit playbook by what's her face, Judge Rights, Anna von Rights.
It
There
has
you go.
nothing to, it has nothing to do with that because it's quoted in the American Immigration and Nationality Act.
Yes,
So
because
therefore, it
that's
has
in direct
nothing to
reference.
do.
That's in direct reference to American Samoa because they are non-U.S. citizens, but they
it's
are
not
American
limited to
nationals.
American Samoa. It's anybody
It
that
is.
born. No, it's not.
It absolutely is.
No, it's not, Artie. All right. Well, if you say so, Artie, I mean, you're the one with the law degree.
You're
The
right.
one that spent thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars.
Yeah, don't
and
remind me.
I go file a federal claim, right, Artie?
Uh-huh.
And I file my claim under the diversity of citizenship, and it doesn't get denied under the diversity of citizenship. Matter of fact, they gladly accept it, Artie. So therefore, there must be some kind of established diversity.
Wait,
present.
wait, who accepted your federal suit?
The federal clerk of the court.
You know they accept everything that they receive, right? That doesn't mean
Well,
that
no,
they're
they
accepting
don't.
your jurisdiction.
No, they don't. No,
They
they
can di-
don't. You
they
have
can
to
dismiss it.
You have to fill out that cover sheet properly, Artie.
Uh-huh.
If you don't fill out that cover sheet, Artie, properly.
Well, can I
then-
get? Well, hey, here's the thing, Ricky. You said you filed the federal suit, correct? Then that means that I can easily look up your case, your docket,
You
through
can.
Pacer.
You can. I
Yeah.
have a Pacer account too, Artie.
All right.
You can.
So
And it got dismissed. And it got
Oh.
dismissed because the judges have immunity.
I'm shocked. I'm shocked. Shocked that your case got
And-
dismissed.
No, I'm not. I kind of knew it. I kind of knew it was going to happen.
Then
I
why
knew it was
bother?
gonna happen. Well, it wasn't why bother. It's what can I learn from it, Artie? It's what can I learn from it? It's what can I accomplish? It's what can I take in from the information and the response that the judge is going to send me back in all these yellow envelopes, Artie,
Uh-huh.
and all these federal envelopes, Artie. I get all these federal envelopes from the federal court,
Yeah.
all these federal documents, Artie. Well, why would they even, I got so far, so close, and
Well, if
I
you got
mean-
the wait, did you get dismissed before even having the hearing?
well, yes, because they said
Okay, that's what I
failed to
thought.
I failed to state a claim which relief could be granted.
Oh yeah, they
I
told
didn't-
B6 to you. Right. No, that's
Yes,
pretty goddamn easy.
Yeah. And now that I understand that, I took that information and then I attached that information to my motions that I
Uh-huh.
filed in my pretrial discovery in my defense.
What
And
in your original case?
that helped me out. So you see you see how I learned that, Artie? You see how I
Uh-huh.
took in that information that they gave me and
Did
I
you?
applicated it to what was important and
Did you
put it in
actually
my-
learn from
and-
this? I don't know if you did.
Oh, boy, I learned enough to know that pitch is Brady motion, and I learned enough that a lot of other stuff that makes a claim under Section 1300 of the California Civil Code of Procedure, permanent S cheat, the public benefit being returned and not claimed,
Yeah,
not
I'm going to
attached
say
by
that
domicile.
the California
Not
Civil Code is
citizen.
not going to be applicable to your
Well,
administrative
I live in the
case.
state of California. I dropped the federal suit. Okay, I'm not
Of
gonna play the
course.
federal ball.
Well, you didn't
I'm just
just
gonna
drop.
take it to the state court.
Hey, Ricky, you didn't drop the federal suit. They dismissed it under 12B6.
They dismissed it. Okay, you're right. You're right. They dismissed it. Now I took the information that I learned and I applied it to the state's case.
Uh-huh.
Now I know to just go play at the state level until the state gives me absolute dismissal and I need a federal appeal. Now I can bring it.
Gotcha. So now you learn that you got to exhaust your remedies
Oh,
first
now
at the
you're gonna
state
admit
level.
that I learned.
Now
Now you're gonna admit that I learned.
yeah, but
Now
you're
gonna admit
actually
that I
not
tricked in
learning.
something.
You're not really learning much. By
Yeah,
the
you
fact.
don't want to tell. You don't want your people to know that I'm learning, and you don't want people to take in this information.
No.
because You're dependent
I'll gladly tell.
on
I'll
their
gladly tell
ignorance.
my audience. I'll gladly tell the audience, guys. What Ricky
What's up?
tried to do is that he tried to file a
What
civil
Ricky
suit.
did. I didn't try. I did.
What
I
Ricky
did.
no, he tried to file a civil suit in federal court while his state
I
court
did.
was
I
still
didn't
going.
try. I did.
While his state court was still pending, they dismissed it outright, and now
And
he's
that's
saying that
that's what's that called? The Youngest Doctrine? Is that
Yes.
called the Youngest Doctrine?
Rooker.
Is that
Rooker-
not called the Youngest
yes,
Doctrine?
yes, his younger.
And
Yes.
see, so you look, Arty. So don't say that I didn't learn anything, Arty. You
No,
don't know what
no,
I
you
took
didn't.
in.
You didn't learn enough. That's my point. You didn't learn
I
that this
learned
is
plenty.
this is a fool's errand.
No, I learned. I learned it. I learned it. Proof of claim, because I've registered it. My claim on the county court of registers. Um, according to the California Civil Code of Procedures, requirement revoking the fiduciary's position of trust.
That
Arty?
does nothing. Revoking a
is something. It's recorded.
fiduciary's trust does nothing.
What do you mean, Arty? It's
A
recorded.
judge is not a fiduciary to you in your
He's
traffic case.
acting. He's
For your s-
acting with the privilege
No, he's not.
on the behalf of the attorney general. Is he not?
No, that's not a thing. No.
Is he not? Is he not putting the money in that court into the state court's trust fund?
No.
Is it not going to the comp controller's office for the state of California?
No,
Come
whatever
on, Arty,
rev-
answer
whatever fines they get goes to the general fund of California. I don't know exactly where they get it. But
Okay,
that
so
does
I'm telling
that-
you, according to the California Civil Code of Procedure.
Okay, I'm going
they
to tell
call
you
it
right now,
in this book.
Ricky, doing that, whatever you're fined does not create a fiduciary relationship between you and the judge.
Oh, it's no, the judge is not. It's not. He is not the fiduciary relationship. He is acting on the behalf with the authority granted, vested to him. He is behaving in that manner.
No,
He is not the fiduciary.
the judge is
What
not.
is the fiduciary, Arty?
There is no
What is the
fiduciary.
fiduciary? What is it?
There is no fiduciary here.
Oh, yeah, are you sure, Arty? Are you really
Yes.
sure?
Yes.
People, why don't you? Arty's telling you there's no such thing as a fiduciary.
I
Look
never
it up.
said that. That's not,
FIDUCARY.
guys, I didn't say that, but he's going to go ahead. I didn't say there was no such thing as a fiduciary.
Okay, you're saying the judge is not acting in his position as a fiduciary?
No, that's exactly what I'm saying. He's not acting in any
So
fiduciary capacity.
maybe I interpreted that from somewhere in this book right here.
Either you got it
See,
misinterpreted.
I'm not going by New Jersey laws, Arty.
Either you
I'm going by
misinterpreted from this.
California laws.
You misinterpreted the California Civil Code, or you're pulling it out of your ass.
No, I don't think so. But I know I have it screenshotted on my phone, but I think I know exactly where it's at. So 48, 10, 415, 430.
Now, bear in mind,
Here it
the
is
only
right
time.
here. Go ahead, Artie.
Okay.
Go ahead.
What?
You said the only time?
Go ahead and say it.
No, you didn't complete your sentence, Artie.
The only time I can fathom where a judge might have any sort of capacity in that sense is in probate court. When they're dealing
Probate.
with
Real property?
executors. No, when somebody passes away and they're dealing with an estate.
Oh, what about the separate legal person that was terminated, Artie?
What separate legal person are you talking about?
Their corporate fiction?
What my corporate fiction?
Oh my God. This is just beautiful, man. I don't mind it. I don't hate you, Artie.
I thought you already had the pay. Are you gonna
Well,
correct me or not? Correct me.
I am. I'm just lost here, man. Action that is or a proceeding. This is California Civil Code of Procedures 403.070A. Okay, and then it proceeds. All right, so I think it concludes at 410. Yeah, 405. Okay, 405.50. Anytime after a notice of pendency.
Hold on, give me 1 second so I
Okay.
can look it up for myself so we can read it together. Hold on a second.
All right.
You said the California Civil Code, correct?
California Civil Code of Procedure, CCP. 405.50.
405.50. Let me see here. Yeah, I have Rule 3. Oh, wait. Let me see here. Rule 4. Where's Rule 4? 3. Rule 7. Way ahead of here. Rule 4. Wait, can you give me the rule again? The exact rule here.
405.50. California Civil Code of Procedure, Article 4. Withdrawal.
405.50.
405.50.
405.50.
Yes, it's only one paragraph.
All right, I'm looking at a different one. Hold on. Let me go. Let me just California Civil Code 405.50. Notice governs a notice of a release of a list pendants in California.
Pendency, yeah.
The fuck
It's
does that have to
required
do
be
with?
filed on the? It's required to be filed on the county register. Looking for the
405.50. At any time after notice of pendency of an action has been recorded pursuant to this title of the law, the notice may be withdrawn by recording in the office of the recorder in which notice of pendency was recorded, or notice of withdrawal executed by the party who recorded the notice of pendency of action, or by the party successor in interest. The notice of withdrawal shall be acknowledged.
ding 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 ding. You got it, Artie.
Okay, where? What? What? I'm a mere lawyer, so you're gonna have to explain to me how this in any
You're
way
the lawyer, Artie.
creates
You're
a
the lawyer.
fiduciary interest
I'm not
by
you're
the judge.
attorney. I'm sorry, you're not a lawyer. You're not a lawyer. You're an attorney.
I'm Yes.
Explain to your people what you just read. Please explain to everybody what you just interpreted.
So
Please.
the way I interpret this is that when somebody files a lis pendens or records a lis pendens,
What is that?
the
What is that? Please explain. Explain that
a lis
word
pendens.
solid. That word in the solid.
A lis pendens is when somebody files at a recorder's office that a piece of property is a subject of a litigation,
Mm-hmm.
and you record it at a
And
county.
what would be property?
A house.
What about your rights?
No.
What about your rights? Because your rights are inside that house, aren't they?
No.
How are they not? How are
A
your
lis-
rights not inside that house? Do you not have
Your-
the so-called Fourth Amendment right to be free of unreasonable searches and seizures, but up on probable cause?
Oh my fucking
No
god.
warrant shall issue. So a piece of property and pendency related to real rights. Come on, Arty.
A lis pendens has to do with real property. It has nothing to do with your
Right.
rights.
How it says real property. Explain real property. A house with a tree attached to the land. Are you not attached to the land, Arty? Can you get off of the land? Can you fly around in the air? Can you just get off of the land whenever you want? If your enclave is your house or your real property, is your rights not included
No.
inside of that real property?
It has nothing to do
So-
with a lis pendens. No. Jesus H.
You're right,
Christ.
Arty. List pendants is absolutely is real property. Real property, according to the legal definition, means anything that's attached.
Real estate. Land.
Yes, land. And are you not attached to the land?
No.
How are you not attached to the land? Do you not walk on it?
I can literally walk off it.
How? Where are you gonna?
I can
How
go
are you
to
gonna
my.
walk off the land?
I can literally move my physical body off my land and go to a goddamn Dollar General.
It's not your land. It's federal territory. You don't own
Yes.
it. You pay taxes on it. You don't owe shit.
I have the
You have a
title to it,
certificate of the
bitch.
deed. You don't have a title. You have a certificate of the title. You don't
Oh my
have the
God.
title. You have a certificate of the title, Arty. See, this one right here, this one right here, Arty, explains federal code, the highways.
Uh-huh.
And it explains that the whole fucking land of the United States is federal jurisdiction.
No shit, Sherlock.
Okay, so your house is on federal jurisdiction, is it not? You don't own it, Arty. You pay taxes on it, don't you? You not pay
No.
taxes on that shit?
The fact that I pay taxes does not mean that I have ownership of it.
You
I
don't
can
own it.
I
That
can
don't mean you
sell
own it. It means you don't own it, because if you own something, you don't have to pay for it again and again and again. You buy it one time.
Oh, okay. So
What
that
would
you
buy
have
it with?
you have a different definition of ownership that is separate from the layman's definition of ownership. Correct. Okay, gotcha.
Well, I'm not a reasonable person, Arty, by the legal definition.
Well, I mean, I think we kind of already understood that.
I'm not a reasonable person, because a reasonable person is someone that makes decisions in their communities. I'm not a reasonable person. I have nothing to do with the decision-making process in the community.
Clearly.
So I mean, I understand your point. I thought the same thing too, Arty. I was stuck on that category, not understanding. So I took the time out, Arty, to get a bunch of lawyer stuff, man. I really invested in a bunch of, stuff to better educate myself and
Right.
understanding your legal terminologies.
I mean, well, I think it's pretty
Uh,
blatantly clear that we have a fundamental
grammar.
disagreement on the nature of the law and how we understand the law.
I believe that the law applies to me in every single bit, Arty. I'm not a sovereign citizen.
Yeah,
But
except
the
when it
rules,
does.
but rules, regulations, and policies that overstep the fundamental principles of enjoyment to my pursuit of happiness and the interruption that are
But see, that's what the
paramount.
problem. But Ricky, that's the problem here. You are deciding yourself whether or not a certain law infringes upon that fundamental happiness.
But if we are all people independent and free and have by nature, it says by nature, California Constitution says by nature, free by nature. Does nature not imply natural?
But you're ignoring the rest of the
Does
California law.
Well, I'm quoting the California.
Nature, no, you're right. Nature invokes natural. Okay, so then what's
but
then
the California Constitution, Article 1, Section 1 says all people by nature are free.
Okay.
So if all people by nature are free, there is no rule that can be attached outside of natural application.
So then what's the point of a legislature?
A legislature to create revenue for the state.
So they're pointless.
They're appointed by the governor, the lieutenant governor of the state, who is lieutenant, which is a military title.
So the voters have no say in who what encompasses the legislature.
The voters absolutely have no say in the appointment of legislatures.
So the legislatures aren't even voted on. They're appointed by the governor.
No, they're not in the state of California. They're not. They're appointed by the lieutenant governor.
Fascinating. So that's actually a very odd thing, because my understanding of the U.S. Constitution is that all states are required to have a Republican form of government. But you're saying California doesn't. That all members of the California legislature are decided upon by the governor.
The legislatures are appointed by the lieutenant governor in the state of California. The state of California is considered a free state. It was invaded by the Union in 1846, conquered, and taken place in 1850. That's when California became a republic. Look it up. And our actual constitution is still standing, which is
California joined the Union after the Mexican-American War.
After California was invaded by the Union states, and they surrendered their land and their banks to the Union, then they joined the Union, which is what, the states of the Union.
California became a state.
Where can we find that Article 4, Section 2? Somewhere in there.
Enters into a statehood
of the Constitution, the Article 4, Section 2, where there's only like 2 places in the whole Constitution that they mention states of the Union.
Okay.
It's like they try to scrub that word out of, and I learned already that I don't even use the Constitution for a defense, because the Constitution is foreign to me. It's not applied to me. The Constitution is nothing but a contract that is granted by the government. The government promises not to violate these rights. Well, I have natural rights. I have natural human rights.
Natural human rights. Who defines what those natural human rights are?
There's, it's funny because the law beats around that. Somehow the United States has found some kind of way to.
So you can't define them.
Circumvent the implementation of true common law.
Are these natural rights what you make of them? Are they based upon your own personal opinion?
The natural rights are you're born with them. You're born with these rights because you're born on the land.
Then what are they?
You're born with the rights.
What are they? What are these rights? What are they?
Property. Your rights to your property.
Okay. What property? Tangible property, real property, any property?
There, that at the moment, unless you claim it, you have no rights, or you have no property. You're considered a juridical individual. A juridical individual does not have the capability or the capacity to be able to possess property or rights.
But you still haven't even defined to me what these property rights are.
Well, the property, you don't have any. If you're a citizen, You absolutely have no property.
Okay,
You
okay,
are the property of the state.
Ricky, you're telling me what people don't have. I'm asking
They
you
don't.
as somebody, Ricky, I'm asking you as somebody who says that you have natural rights. I'm asking you what are those natural rights, and one of them you said it was property. You haven't really elaborated to me what that entails.
Okay, I'll elaborate real easy. In the Ninth Amendment, it says
why are you citing the Ricky? You just said the Constitution.
I'm just going to answer your question. I'm just going to use your Constitution in the Ninth Amendment.
But Ricky, you just cited the Constitution. I thought you said the Constitution was irrelevant.
I just said I'm going to use. It is irrelevant. Okay, I'll rephrase that. I'll redact that just for your satisfaction, Arty. I'll redact that. Hey, cheers, Arty. I'm having a great discussion with you, Arty.
I know.
Cheers, man.
I'm trying, man. Salud.
Well, Arty, what rights do you have in natural rights? Well, you have all the rights that they tell you that you already have in the Constitution. But the Constitution just identifies those rights for the people that are not aware of their natural rights. So once you understand those natural rights and how they are actually applied, and then you understand the position of citizenship that is applied to you at birth, that it's a privilege. Citizenship can be revoked, can it not? Citizenship is for residents.
No, your citizenship cannot be. Your citizenship is a fundamental right, even if you got it through naturalization.
But what if you don't want it? They applied it to you. You don't need citizenship if you was born here.
Well, that's because it's birthright. Because if you're not a citizen, then you have less rights. You have fewer rights.
Then you have more rights. You know why, Arty? I had a former felony, Arty. I went to prison when I was 14, Arty. I got out when I was 21 and a half, Arty. I got out in 2003. I haven't been back since. Okay? So, therefore, I just here recently went down to the state of California and filled out the ATF Brady firearm application.
Okay.
Show my passport. Show my passport ID card. Guess what happened, Arty? Before that, I couldn't fill out that form and get approved, Arty, but guess what? I got approved. And that sales took place, Arty. So how is it that I don't have any fucking rights, and the citizen that wants to go apply for that firearm that's never been to prison, and he gets to be able to get denied, but somehow I didn't?
So let me see if I
What's up with that, Arty?
Let me see if I got this straight. You just said that you were able to purchase a firearm as a felon.
Nope, I'm not a felon anymore. That person, separate legal entity, has been washed away. So just to prove it, Arty, if you go back and look at the Colorado arrest, when they took my fingerprints more than 15 times, how come they never got an answer back on my fingerprint, Arty? And why, Arty, to this day, when I go and look up that Colorado arrest, it's not present on their books.
I will say that I agree with the folks in the chat that if you were sent to prison at 14 for a felony, it's likely that they was expunged when you reached the age of majority.
Age of majority? You don't become an age of majority until you make that claim, Arty.
It's automatic, though.
Well, there's two different kinds of ages of majority. Is there not, Arty?
Well, there's the age of majority, and there's the age of consent.
And the Federal Code of Civil Regulations, Civil Code of Regulation of Procedure, whatever they call it. I found person in there. I found in Title 26, person 7343. I found person in 2677.011. I found person in Title 4 Title 5.
Ricky, we're as you mentioned before, we already gotten a little bit behind track, right? Because we were talking about natural rights, correct? And you meant, but the thing is, I haven't mentioned it already. The Fifth Amendment says that you have that under the Constitution you have a right to life, liberty, and property without you have a right to not to be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of law. Correct. So property rights is there.
What is due process?
Due process meaning
due process?
Due process meaning that you have the ability to have notice, a hearing, and all of the procedural matters that come with being able to challenge and defend to defend any challenge against those rights.
The due process, the conduct of legal proceedings according to established rules and principles for the protection and enforcement of private rights, including concepts of fundamental fairness and basic rights of procedures. Due process.
Mm-hmm.
So,
with all due respect, Ricky, that looks like one of my cheat sheets when I was a 1L.
Hey, you know what? So that's why I bought this, Arty, so that I can understand these terminologies. That when they try to apply those terminologies, you fully understand that word salad that you like to make fun of. You know, because that word salad is the same vocabulary that you use. That word salad is that very same legal definition, Arty. Don't beat around the bush about factual information.
Okay.
So fundamental rights are applied.
So can I
natural rights are applied.
So can I ask you
the same senses that the federal that the Constitution can make claim, because you don't need the Constitution doesn't give me my rights.
Okay, Ricky. On that note, what is another natural right besides property?
The right to be left alone.
Okay, so what does that right entail? Like, how do you define that in normal everyday interaction? What does that mean precisely?
The right to be left alone means you get to accept the contract or not the contract. You get to pick the contract and not to associate or to disassociate with the contract.
Okay. So disassociate or associate. Right to be left alone. So does that mean that you
not to associate?
So that means that you don't have to associate with, for example, a local municipality, correct?
If the local municipality oversteps the fundamental concepts of independent liberty, not freedom, because I recognize the difference between freedom and liberty.
But what does that mean, Ricky? You're giving me
liberty,
you're giving me broad terms. Liberty can mean a whole fucking lot of things, right?
And so can freedom. So can freedom.
Right. Exactly. So what does that mean when a municipality oversteps and violates that liberty? What does that mean? Who determines whether or not an action done by a municipality violates or infringes upon that liberty?
Well, it depends on where you take that claim. Who makes that decision? It depends on where you take the claim.
But see, that's
and what the claim.
That goes to my fundamental point, Ricky, is that who defines whether or not that liberty, aka what is the liberty and what is an abridgment of that liberty, and whether or not the action is an abridgment of that liberty.
Okay, I'll make it simple. All right. I'll try to do my best. Action of that liberty is any person knowingly present in a public place that they have a right to be targeted because the idea of the officer's reasonable discretion is you're somehow a part of an event that you have nothing to do with. You know nobody. You are not doing donuts. You're not racing anyone. You're just merely reporting the story from the local scenes of what is factually taking place.
Okay.
And then they decide to grab you up for exercising your journalistic duties.
Okay, perfect. All right, perfect. There is an accusation being made by this officer that's saying that you are committing a certain action, right? That is going against whatever social norms that was passed by ordinance of this municipality. You say that that by virtue of them citing you for this is an abridgment of your liberty, because you say that you weren't.
It's
But
administrative
you say that
citation,
you weren't doing
and
you
there's
weren't
no
doing X,
body-
Y, and Z, and there was no basis for this action.
Absolutely not.
Now,
Absolutely not.
No,
because where's the victim?
I'm not.
Where's
I'm
the
not.
victim?
Hey, hold on, Ricky.
Where's the
Hold on,
victim
Ricky.
to hold the charge?
Hold on, Ricky. Now we have two differing claim or statements by the parties here. That's going on here. Cop is saying X.
hearsay?
The cop is claiming one thing, you're claiming the other. How are we to rectify these two opposing narratives in your system?
The only way to do so, man, is you got to make that claim. If you don't make the claim, then then you won't know. You got to make the claim. You got to assert the claim. You got to write it. You got to put it down on paper. You got to record it.
So
You
did
got
the
to take
officer?
that recording and you got to state it correctly.
So did the officer write up a citation and hand it to you?
No, he took me to jail.
So he took you to jail. Did he write up a report and send it over to the court?
He wrote a ticket for.
Oh, so it's a ticket. So then he did write down a claim that he's making against you.
Yeah, a charge, right? A charge.
Okay, so he did write a charge that's saying that on this date, Ricky did X, Y, and Z in violation of ABC. And then he handed you a copy of that.
No, he didn't hand me a copy of it. They gave it to me after I was released.
Oh, okay. But they gave you they handed a copy of it to you after you were released. So they did
when I was released the next day.
So they put things on paper and handed it to you, correct?
Yeah, that's called libel.
Well, no, the officer is making an accusation, is he not?
Yeah, he's making a false accusation.
Right,
He said,
but
he also cited me, Arty. He also cited me for not having a front headlight in the hours of darkness, and that California Vehicle Code requires any bicycle rider who is riding a bicycle in the hours of darkness have a light attached either to them or to the bicycle. I had a camera in my hand, like matter of fact, I had this rig in my hand, and so let me get it out of here. I got a little bitty house, man, so I like to hoard my stuff. But see this rig right here? My camera was right here. My phone was right here. And I had a flashlight that is mounted, that was zip tied right here.
Okay.
And he even wrote me for not having a flashlight in the darkness, in the hours of darkness. So the fact that I had a flashlight in my possession, does that contradict the officer's truthfulness?
That's entirely
wrote me up
possible, but
knowingly.
I'm not talking
Come on,
about.
Arty.
Hey, Ricky,
Arty,
I'm not
it's
talking.
there. It's a
Ricky,
fact. It's a fact.
Ricky,
It's recorded.
Ricky, I'll take a look at it later. But I'm only going by what you originally were saying that you were
You're only
arguing
going by
against.
what Mitchell Crooks told you. That's all.
Who?
You're going by the edited information that was provided to you by Mitchell Crooks.
Ricky, I know nothing
Or
about this
mistaken
current
comment.
situation. Ricky, I literally know nothing about this current situation. Everything that I've been getting,
I'll give you the
everything that I've been getting has been coming from you about this entire endeavor.
Okay. All right. Cool. Well, I'm just saying, Arty. Like this guy's he's been hacking me for 5 years, man. He's been and he recently, he accomplished a lot. He got my channel shut down. He got my he's attached bots and shit, man. It's cool. I'm not even. Look, it's minor. I can it's minor setback, Arty.
Ricky, all I'm saying is I'm aware of who you're referring to. I'm not gonna pretend that I don't know who you're talking about.
Okay.
But what I'm saying is
that's fair. Thank you.
But what I'm saying is, I literally know nothing about this current circumstance, about you getting cited, about the street race. I know nothing beyond what you just told me.
Okay. Well, I mean, if you want to know, Artie, I was listening to the radio scanner, and I heard a call come over the radio. I waited about 30 minutes, and there was repeated calls that came over to dispatch from this scanner. I have two different scanners, Artie. I have this scanner. Remember how I was like, dude said I was homeless and I couldn't afford, a room, so I was hijacking. I was hijacking shit, the Wi-Fi or whatever.
No,
so here's my
like,
other scanner.
Right.
Here's my other scanner. So I heard the code come over the radio. I waited about 30 minutes, and then I heard repeated calls come over the radio from people who were stuck in the traffic of this street takeover, like these innocent people that had nothing to do with it, and they were repeatedly calling Inglewood like, "Hey, we're stuck here. These guys, they won't let us move." And Inglewood's like, okay, we'll be there. We'll be there. And Inglewood PD isn't very far from the location of this incident. And it could have took them less than 6.5 minutes to get to that location. But it took them 47 minutes to arrive.
Okay.
Because they had to allow the event to build. So I waited until I heard the sirens. Well, Zebra heard the sirens. So he's like, hey, there comes the sirens right now. So we decided to go ahead and roll out, and we were still ahead of Inglewood Police Department. We were way ahead of them. And then when we arrived at the location of the intersection, all these people just started scattering, just running all opposite direction.
Which sounds about
and
right.
Cars
if
were
the
just
cops
stuck, and I'm going there. I'm not running away. I'm going there. I'm not running away. I'm going there. So obviously, I don't have anything to do with this.
Okay.
So I ride by these Inglewood cops when they told me to get out of the street, because California Vehicle Code says that bicycle riders have to ride their bicycle in the streets.
Okay.
So they told me to get out of the street. I got out of the street, but in the process of getting out of the street, I said, "Fuck you, drug dealers." They jumped out and attacked me and arrested me. Took me to jail for spectating.
Okay.
I mean, that's the story, Artie. I went to court. You heard the court proceedings. You commented on it. That shit got dismissed. I have the dismissal proceedings too. I don't give a shit about the court rules, because they want to sell me that very same transcript from the court from a third party, when you absolutely have the right to access that transcript. So
I actually don't.
Fairness?
I don't know what the rules are in California when it comes to transcripts. I can only tell you about New Jersey.
Right, and I can't tell you anything about New Jersey law, but I can tell you about California procedure.
Okay.
So I can't comment on Nevada's procedure. I can't comment on Wyoming's procedure. I can't comment on New York or anybody else's procedure. I can only state California's procedure, because that's the procedure I understand, and that's the procedure, rules, and regulations that I currently have.
Okay.
And I just want to make a better understanding. I'm not trying to say that I'm sovereign and sovereign citizen, because Washington, D.C. is a sovereign state. It's a sovereign territory. It's not a part of the
DC is a territory, but it's not a state, correct?
It's not a state. It's not a sovereign territory.
But DC has some level of sovereignty, but ultimately Congress is in control of the DC area. No, you're right. It's extremely DC is extremely limited in what they can do in governing their own affairs, because ultimately Congress has control of the DC area. Yes.
Right, and Congress is elected as United States representatives.
Yes,
and the fact
from
that
all
people voted for them
from the several states.
And whatever, regardless of the outcome of the vote, they participated in the vote. So therefore, they have no claim about the outcome of the vote.
Wait, what?
If people voted,
right,
and they participated in the vote,
right,
regardless of the party that they voted for,
okay,
being the party that won,
right,
regardless, they have no room to complain about the outcome of the vote, because they participated in that vote. That's
Well,
like you fell down, Artie, and I seen you fell down, so I stuck my hand out there for you to take my hand to help you up. And when I tried to help you up, you pulled me down too. I can't complain about you pulling me down because I extended my hand to you. And
oh,
the result
well,
of the consequences
well, okay.
of you taking my hand, you pulled me down too, so I can't complain about that.
Okay, so one thing I have to, I want to make sure we're on the same page here. If you elect not to participate in the vote, you are still going to face the consequences of the results.
Well, it depends if you remove your vote by, technicalities, by recording, by making certain statements on the record. Then if anybody were to use your name in a voting election and you were to find out about it, do you not have recourse or claim to them using your
Well, if
name
somebody,
in a
well,
vote that you never casted?
well, if somebody voted in your stead and you didn't make a vote, then of course you have a claim against that. But what I'm saying is, if you decide not to make any vote whatsoever, you decide on election day that you don't want to participate, you're still going to be subject
Well,
to
as a
whatever
United States
consequences
national,
are.
you're not. But as a United States national, you don't have the privilege to participate in the vote.
Very true. Because non-citizens do not have the right to vote.
Non-citizen, non-resident, no citizen. I seen that written on. That's
Right,
where I
but
got
even
that on your. I got that.
but e-
No
but even
citizen, no domicile.
but even non-citizen immigrants are still subject to whatever laws that are passed by
because that's a different type of citizen. That's a different type of individual.
an immigrant is
That's
not a citizen by definition.
immigrant. Yes, they are because they become naturalized and become a citizen, right?
Not if
Do they not?
a lawful permanent resident is not a citizen.
Right. They're absolutely right about that. But they have a green card.
A green card does not confer citizenship.
That's not what I'm saying, Artie. You just said lawful permanent
wait.
resident does not convey citizenship, right? So to be a lawful permanent resident, you must have a green card.
Right. But that doesn't make you a citizen.
Unless you get naturalized.
If you get naturalized, then you become a U.S. citizen. Yeah.
Okay. So if you are not, if you return, because people don't understand, citizen is the public benefit. Acceptance of the public benefit is the acceptance of the escheat. Identified in California Civil Code of Procedures 13, subsection 1300. So the acceptance of public benefit and your citizenship, Artie, is public benefit. You are a public individual. You are absolutely present as public property. That's why the government has control over you.
But you don't. But the thing is, you don't understand. You could be a tourist, a foreigner tourist coming to the United States,
just
and
be here for a couple months.
And if you violate the law of the state of New York, for example, you'd be subject to that law. It's not
Artie,
even if you're not a citizen.
Just make sure I don't get my address. So I don't really care, but because the docs.
I don't want to dox you or anything. So make sure you cover that.
I am. Don't worry. I'm not even complaining about you, Artie. I know who the responsible party is. All right. See what this is, right? See where this is from. Okay?
Yeah, for I-797C notice of action.
Right.
Okay.
Okay. Now, look right here. See if we make sure we get this in there. We get that in there.
Okay.
Let's see if we. Okay. Look at that.
Your form is being returned to you for the following reasons.
Right. That's right. Following reasons. Trying to get
Okay.
it on the screen for you. Let's see.
All right. I
For the following reasons.
okay. I see what you're trying to convey.
I'm not trying to convey. It says it.
It's just saying that you submitted a wrong, incorrect form.
But what does it also say, Artie? Regardless of incorrect form. Regardless of it being an incorrect form.
You're not a
It does
lawful
say that
permanent
I'm not an
resident. You're not a
LPR.
lawful permanent resident. You're not a lawful permanent resident.
And it's been terminated. And
Yeah,
it's been
but
rescinded.
if you were never a lawful permanent resident in the first
What is
place, that
rescinded?
is if you were
What is
if
it?
you were never an LPR in the first place.
When you fill out the application for something, it asks you for anything. It'll ask you for your lawful permanent residence. When you go to the Department of Motor Vehicles, it asks you for your lawful permanent residence. It asks you to establish 3 forms of residency in the state of
Okay.
California. It has to be a bill with the same address, has to be your birth certificate, and some other bill. It has to be 2 bills, a water bill, a phone bill, and your birth certificate or your social security card also. Then you can get your ID or your driver's license. If you don't have a bill related to your residence, Artie, you can't get a driver's license in the state of California.
Okay.
So therefore, you have to have some kind of resident, right?
Okay.
Don't act like you're bored and you're sleeping, man. Because
Because-
then
well, the
I guess
thing is-
this conversation is over because
Because
saying that-
you were never a lawful permanent resident in the first place because
Are
you're a
you?
U.S. citizen. No, I'm
It doesn't-
no, I'm not.
you know, when
I've never been an LPR because I was born in the United States.
they still apply LPR to you, Artie.
No, they don't.
When you fill out
Okay.
when
All right.
the
Ricky, I love you, man, but
DS11 form, the
It's-
DS11 form,
Ricky, it's
the
10 o'clock.
DS11 form for your
Okay,
passport.
go ahead.
It asks you
Yep.
for your lawful permanent residence. See, you can't debate me, Artie. That's why
I
you're sitting over there.
renewed my passport this past month, and I never had to
Right,
make any
and your
claim about
DS11,
my
and your
LPR.
DS11, and your DS11. It says that on the other side of your form, Artie. It says that on the other side of your form. It says LPR. Your lawful. Please write down your lawful permanent residence. And ask you for that. Everybody fills out their lawful permanent residence. When you go,
But
to
that
fill out
doesn't
the
mean
firearm application, Artie.
It asks you
When
to
you go
fill
to fill
out
out
your
the fire
it asks you to fill out your address. It does not mean the same thing as your status as an LPR, especially if you're already a U.S. citizen.
Okay. All right.
All right,
well,
but dude, it's 10. Dude, Ricky, it's 10 o'clock. My wings are have already gotten
Nice.
cold by now. I'm hungry,
Nice.
but I gotta stop
You-
this. We've been talking for
Nice.
about 2
Thank-
hours
thank-
now,
thank-
man.
Thank you for having me on, Artie. I appreciate it. And all these people want to call me stupid. It's fine. Artie, you can call me stupid, call me all these names you want, man. I remember how hostile I was last time.
I do remember that.
How hostile, and I try to take in from that, and you see the difference in my attitude this time, Artie.
Well,
So
I mean,
I'm on your show. I'm here in your presence, but honestly,
well,
Artie,
I
man,
will grant you that you are far less hostile than you were the last time we had a 1-to-1. I will admit that.
hopefully you can just accept the fact that stop judging people for having ideas of their own freedom, and it's just because someone else shares opposition of ideas from you doesn't make them any less brighter or any less smarter than you are or anybody else that's watching.
All right.
So I wish you well, Artie,
Have a good night, man.
and you too, man. Take care.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Yeah.
All right, I'm done. That took it out of me. I will apologize to my audience, and I need to apologize to myself. by getting some food because I'm hungry. I need some food after this. But thank you very much, guys, for sticking around. All 300 of you. Hit that like button. Subscribe. And I'll see you next time. I need food. I'm hungry. But that was an event. All right. Take